Simon, welcome to Nightbreed. How's it going, man?
Dude, great. Thanks for having me, man. How you doing?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. Um,
That's good.
so to the grave. You guys put out Global Warning 2019. Were you guys together for long before that release?
Have we been together for long before that?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, the band goes way back. Like if we want to really talk about the OG
Okay.
days of the band, like I think the band officially formed in like late 2008 or something like that. Like it
Yeah,
goes
well.
way back. That was before my time even. Um, I joined the band in like 20 like tail end of 2010, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a whole story in and of itself. But yeah, it's been a minute. We've had a bunch of releases in the past that we've kind of buried a little bit, but
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, Global Warning's definitely. I guess No Lives Matter was the EP before it. That was kind of the one that got a little bit of attention, and then we sort of disappeared, and then we came back with Global Warning, and then that's when everyone was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, so when you guys first got back together, because obviously, you sing about the environment and like veganism, that kind of thing. Has that always been something you guys are
Mm.
keen on, putting forward with your band?
That was so around about sort of 2017. Dane took a real right hand turn, and like I can't remember exactly what happened. You'd have to ask him, but something significant happened in his life, and he was just like that was his focus from then on in, and then his like lyrical content just became about that when the band came back, and it just sort of evolved into this like huge vehicle for the activism.
Yeah, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So 2021, you guys put out Epilogue with the extra tracks and Global Warning again. What
hmm
made you decide to repackage the album? Was it there more people keen to get the original still? Is that sort of
Funnily enough, that was more of a timing than anything else. Like we'd just put Global Warning out independently, and that made enough noise that we managed to pick up this kick-ass management deal with Isa Music over in based in Sweden,
mm,
and they took care of us, and basically we formulated a plan with them not long after to get Global Warning out like overseas really and kind
mm,
of get it some traction internationally. And so they were like, look guys, we're thinking we love the album, and we want to see it do well, in other countries. Would you consider, writing some extra material for it, and we'll release it under a different title with different artwork as like a deluxe edition? And that was around about the time that we got the deal with Unique Leader as well. That's when they picked us up, and they were like, everybody was on board.
mm.
And we just thought it was a really cool idea to kind of like give it a last hurrah on that album cycle, and just yeah, give it a bit more legs, and
Yeah.
give it a different production, different mastering, and yeah.
No, that's cool, man.
Hmm.
You guys recently, if I'm looking at the dates right, you recently came back from the European tour, right?
Yeah.
I mean that had to be sick, man. A bunch of sold out shows. Like, how
Oh,
was it?
that was absolutely unreal. I think to this day, everybody around me is sick of me saying it now, but like that was the most unreal thing we've ever done in our lives. Like that was the first time like most of us had left the country before as well. So
Nice, man.
getting to finally see the world, and like having music take you there was just the most insane experience. And like everybody on that tour, like every member of every band and the crew and the drivers, like everybody was best friends like day one. It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Like
really
we just
cool,
had the
man.
best time. Yeah.
Awesome. So do you reckon there's much chance of seeing as you've, made friends with all these people over there, you reckon you'll head over there again soon?
Oh, 100%. We had some tentative plans for the rest of the year. We've kind of got a more of a cohesive plan together now, but nothing locked in concrete just yet.
Sure.
Obviously, unfortunately, we had to pull out of that US tour because of Dane's surgery, but that kind of had to happen. That wasn't going to wait. Um, but yeah, like we we would love to hit Europe again this year if we can. But given the plans that we've kind of got in the backlog, we're not sure if that'll happen until next year, but definitely next year. We would love to see that,
Oh,
because
sweet.
it was just, yeah, we'd love to see more of the country as well.
Yeah, that's cool. So good reception, the crowd's into it, that kind of thing, yeah.
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 There's the almost all the shows were sold out, and like yeah, as I said, I don't think we had a bad night. Even like we went from Tilburg, which was I think a 1,600 cap room, and they were losing their minds, all the way down to Southampton in the UK, which I think was like a 200 and something cap room,
Mm.
super tiny, super intimate, and everybody, it was just a meat grinder in there. It was great.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Um, just away from To the Grave for a minute. What have you been checking out lately, band wise? What are you listening to?
Oh, so all right. So the homies in Vengeance just put out their latest single, Varicose, and that has been rocking my socks for the last couple of weeks. In terms of other bands that have put stuff out lately, um, the new Cattle absolutely slaps. Like I've
Oh,
been a long time Cattle fan, and that's Weird Aaron Young is. Oh man, that's got me hyped for the rest of that. Whenever that comes out.
yeah, yeah.
Um, other than that, I think I'm the sort of guy that's been listening to the same like 10 albums for like the last 5 years. So that's
Nice.
usually my modus operandi. But like, yes, just those couple of new tracks like have really sort of piqued my attention lately.
Yeah, nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is Demon Pyre still kind of, working on the next thing? What's going on with that band?
I hope so.
Yeah.
They managed to. It was my tenure in Demon Empire was it was a lot of fun, but it was kind of weird towards the end. So basically, like they obviously they called me to the guns after TTG had disbanded, and they were just like, "What do you reckon? Do you want to stick around?" After I learned the songs and we did a couple of rehearsals, and I was like, "Yeah, this is sick. I'm happy to hang around."
Mm,
They already had a bunch of music out at that time, and I just had to learn that stuff. And then they were working on a new album, which ended up being the last album they put out.
mm,
So I toured with them for a couple of years. That was heaps of fun. Like we all got along really well. And then obviously the guys being a little older than me, life just kind of got in the way. Things started to slow down. I think Andy just wanted to get the album done and put it out, and then the band kind of just sort of faded.
okay. Yeah.
Which is a shame because those guys were killer. Like they were one of the biggest names in like Sydney death metal, which is
Mm,
why I was so stoked to jump on. But yeah, I had a little bit of involvement in that album, but a lot of it I think was done. A lot of it was written and completed by Dan Presland. Actually, he was the one who did the drums on that one.
oh, sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
And yeah, talking albums and recording, your guys, the To the Grave album, director's cuts, coming out Feb 24, which 2 days ago. There you go. So it's
already
out.
out.
It's out there.
Loving it.
Yeah. How was the approach to this one compared to the last? Like writing, recording, was there anything different?
That's a good one, actually. So this is the first time I didn't actually think about this until I pointed it out where I was in a Discord chat with a bunch of the fans the other night. Go join our Discord, by the way, discord.gg/TTA. Um, I was in a Discord call and I was talking to one of the kids and he was like, "Oh, is it real drums on the new album?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is. Actually, it's Epilogue and Global Warning are the only releases I think that we've not done real drums for,
Oh, okay.
which kind of shocked me actually,
Hmm,
because normally like it was just way cheaper to do it that way. Not quite the same sound, but it is what it is in the situation you're in. But
yeah.
yeah, it was really strange going back to doing real drums for the first time because I was like, I never write so all the parts that I write for all the albums, like Global Warning, Epilogue, all that included. I never write stuff that is so hard that I know I won't be able to play it live.
Sure.
I'll usually write it like 5 or 10% harder than I think I can do to try and kind of push me to catch up and get a little better each time, each
Mm,
release.
mm,
But yeah, nothing that I wouldn't be able to pull off because I like it's really important to me the integrity of like being able to do it, night after night.
mm.
So yeah, I wrote all of the parts out in MIDI as most guys do. It's the usual workflow. And then yeah, I had the laptop with me and I was just kind of teaching myself the parts in the studio as we were going. And yeah, had a blast dialing in this really cool like acoustic drum tone for the album, and had a lot of fun just like trying out different sounds, different cymbals, different heads, all that kind of stuff, tunings and that.
Mm.
I forgot how much fun like the organic process of getting the tones down actually is. Just like sort of, it sounds weird, but like working with the instrument with your hands, it's just I don't know, it's another level of like tactile kind of involvement that makes it just feel real. And like yeah, I think it definitely translates in the music. And Lance did a killer job mixing it all and making it sound huge because I worked really hard on the parts for
Yeah.
this album. So I really wanted everybody to hear all of the detail that I put into it. And
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully that'll come through.
Yeah, you definitely can. With the writing process, like, are you writing drum parts and then the other guys are like, writing riffs to that, or what's the process?
Yeah. So this time around, we actually tried because we're still trying to figure that out ourselves. Like we don't really this current lineup hasn't really been around long enough to have been in a rhythm with that sort of thing. So we're still figuring it out as well. So we're just trying different stuff, seeing what works.
Mm,
A lot of the time it would be the guys would go away, they'd write a couple of riffs. And then as the process got on, we wrote a lot of songs for this thing. So like the more songs in we got, the more complete the songs were coming back to us before we heard them for the first time.
Yeah.
And then once we got to a point where it was like, all right, just give me the guitar tracks, I'll start, I'll put my flavor into the drums, that kind of thing. And then we would just go through a series of revisions, and Dane would give us his like vocal patterns for whatever he thought was going to work. And yeah, from there it was just kind of like hammering out the details of the songs as they went. And yeah, but it started with a mostly complete guitar song, and then from there I would get it, do the drums, give it to the rest of the boys, they could do their parts, and then it's just refinement after that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So you couple of music videos recently, that cut off the head music video with Dane's face all animated and everything. How'd that come together? That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that one was funnily enough, I think we'd done the least planning for that video, and we think that one came out one of the sickest, which was kind of cool, because it was like we were trying to figure out what we were going to do, because we just kept upping the ante with all of these other clips. Like we'd never done anything this ambitious in the past, just because the budget was bigger. This was the first release on a label that we'd had a chance to like throw some ideas around that were really cool and unique. Obviously we had Ben from Third Eye, who absolutely murdered it on the Red Dot clip, and we had Colin for doing found footage, which looks like a Netflix special, and we were just like, Jesus, how are we going to top this? So yeah, like the cut off the head one that we did with Zargus was a bit of a, I don't want to say a happy accident, but it came out so much better than we thought it was going to, for the level of planning that went into it. And yeah, we just had like a couple of loose concepts, and he really like came through for us. We really didn't have all that many amendments at all. So yeah, stoked with that one.
Yeah, that's cool. I wanted to ask about the acts of kindness video as well. It looked like fun with all the blood everywhere and stuff. How did that one come together?
Oh man, that started out. That was a great one, actually. So that one, we had this idea. I can't remember which band had done it. I know Dane's gonna kill me for not remembering, but we saw the loose idea for the band, like, were in the clip. They were the actors in the clip, and they were eating like people at a restaurant. And we were like, fuck, that's a really cool idea. How do we like put a dark twist on that fits the message? And so it started out as we wanted to film like hire out a restaurant and do a similar thing, except that it was us going and like killing people and bringing them back to the restaurant to make the food for the customers. But that proved to be, obviously that's quite an expensive endeavor. So we put our heads together with Colin, and we were like, let's make like, that's pretty manageable, but we wanted that had like a uniquely kind of like Bunnings Aussie sort of flavor to it that we kind of dug. Yeah, ended up filming it at this Airbnb, which was the same Airbnb that Colin happened to be staying at anyway. So we didn't have to hire a venue or anything. And I shit you not, this fucking Airbnb had like the steel tables and stuff like that. They had a meat locker, a frozen locker, like in the garage. And it had like that whole scene, that room where Dane's like cutting up all the victims, was all part of this Airbnb. And I think they must have owned like a family restaurant business or something like that. Whatever it was that required like all of these like food prep, like kitchen kind of, benches and tables and the devices and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, the meat locker. But yeah, it was all there. It was the perfect happy accident again, where we just kind of lucked up, and we were just like, this is absolutely fucking perfect. We couldn't have planned this if we tried. So yeah, that was great. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. So I know you're saying, there's things in the works you probably can't confirm 100%, but what else is To the Grave up to in the distant future? Like, are you writing, or what goes on?
Yeah, we've got a lot coming. This is a very busy year. I don't think we're probably going to be out of people's feeds for at least 12 months with the year we've got packing. But yeah, it's a mix of both. It's going to be a lot of touring. And it's going to be a lot of new music as well. Like, I know we've only just dropped this one, but we've got heaps in the chamber at the moment, so it's going to be a very busy year. Obviously, we pulled out of the US tour. They will see us this year. That's all I can say.
No, good.
Well, we're hoping anyway. We're 98% sure they will see us this year. It just won't be with the tour that we had to pull out of. But yeah, very exciting, because we really wanted to go and see the US. Like, we were so stoked for that tour.
Yeah, how is Dane doing anyway? Like, he said he had
He's doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing okay. He's out of hospital. It was a relatively quick trip to the ER actually. I think he had the surgery and it was like it wasn't minor, but he was kind of in and out a day or so of recovery and then they sent him home.
Yeah.
Obviously he's still like quite sore and he's got no hearing in his right side. But no, right side, left side. Now he's gonna kill me for not remembering that too. But anyway, yeah, he's doing a lot better. He's gonna try and sort of take it easy on doing doing vocals. Obviously, we're not gonna be flying anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's doing okay. We think he's gonna recover as best he can.
Cool. Awesome, man. Well, look, Simon, thanks for your time. And yeah, links below. Check out To the Grave, everyone. And I'm sure it sounds like there's lots of fun stuff to come too. So thanks a lot, man.
100%, man. Dude, appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a good one, man.
Thanks very much.
See ya.
Cheers.